Okay, guys. Dead of the Day, Karen E. Olson. That is an Annie Seymour mystery. Um, I'm reading it for a book club that I'm part of. It's called a snail mail book club. What you do is you find a book, read it. You have give yourselves a certain amount of time to read the book, say a month to read the book, and get you some kind of a notebook. I use this smaller one I got off Amazon. And what you would do is do like a book review of the book, like I did here, or however you decide you want to do your book review. Then you would take that notebook and the book you read, and you will mail that to somebody else in your book club. My book club there's 4 of us in the snail mail book club. So you take this, the notebook and the book, you'd mail it to the next person on the list. They would mail it to someone, or they would mail their book that they picked to someone, and so on and so forth. So by the time your book circulates back to you, you'll have read 4 or 5 different books, depending on how many people you want in your snail mail book club. And so by the time you get this book, you'll have had 4 to 5 different reviews on your book that you mailed out. I hope that makes sense. And then same with the others. They'll have 4 to 5 different reviews on the book that they, sent around. So, and then, it takes, good part of a year to mail it out and, get back to you, depending on if everybody keeps to the time limit. 1 month, mail it. The next person has a month to read it and do the book review, and so on and so forth. So you're looking 5 to 6 months before you get your book back, depending on how many people you have in your snail mail book club. My book club, we decided on each person picks a genre that they'll pick a book from, to hopefully kind of keep from picking the same book. So I picked a book from the mystery genre. I have another girl that picks thriller, I think she said, and then one has paranormal or supernatural. And then another girl is doing, I think, historical fiction. So books from different genres to hopefully not circulate the same book. So we have different books of different genres, which is good because, I personally will read from any genre. I'm not overly picky. I personally don't care much for westerns or sci-fi. I've never really been much for reading sci-fi. I don't mind watching sci-fi movies, but reading sci-fi books, I'm not a big fan of. I mean, I'll read them depending on the author. With Western books, they have to have a little bit of something else in with them. I know a girl that writes young adult steampunk westerns that are actually pretty good. But yeah, it has a kind of little bit of something else to it. Maybe like even like a paranormal romance, or paranormal, not romance, paranormal western, type thing, but not straight up just western. I not much a fan of it. Same with sci-fi, I'm not much a fan of it, but it also depends on the author. But yeah. But with Dead of the Day, that was actually a pretty good book. This is actually an older book. Back in, when was this published? Let's see. Back in, looks like it was 2007. So it's an older book, almost 20 years old. But I personally don't read a lot of mystery books. I normally read mostly dark romance, fiction, anything that revolves around like vampires, witches, werewolves. Not a zombie fan. But anyways, I don't normally read a lot of mysteries, but this, I loved her sentence structure. I liked how she incorporated raw human emotions into her characters. She had a nice little words and sentence structure. The characters felt pretty real, just how she kind of showed their emotions and their actions and whatnot. The main character, Annie, she's a investigator, journalist. She works for a newspaper company, I think called the Herald or something. But I loved how focused she was on, focused and determined on how she gets what she wants, like the info. She's really determined and focused on getting what she needs for, her articles for the Herald, the newspaper, whatever it is. But she's very determined and focused. And, she shows and proves that sometimes you just have to be a bit on the annoying side to get what you want, but I'm definitely gonna buy more of her books and read more of the Annie Seymour mystery, because she has a few more books of that, but I'm definitely gonna buy those. If you love mystery books, that's definitely a book you'll want to read.